So thank you everybody very much for joining this afternoon's pre-departure webinar for University of Plymouth International College here in the southwest of England. Let me start by introducing myself and my colleagues on the panel. So I'm Tim Gutzel. I'm Director of Marketing and Admissions for University of Plymouth International College, which for speed we'll call UPIC from now on. And let me pass over to my colleagues in Lagos and upstairs in Plymouth, so they can introduce themselves as well.
Hello, I'm Chloe Swan. I'm the admissions officer here at UPIC in the same building as Tim. So look forward to welcoming you all when you arrive in Plymouth.
Thanks, Chloe.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Olashubomi. I'm the student recruitment assistant for UPIC. My office is here right here in Lagos, Nigeria. So any questions, just direct them to me.
That's great. Thank you, Shubomi. Can you all see my, what can you see on the screen? Can you see the University of Plymouth International College logo and name? Yeah? Okay, yes. Great. So we do have some slides that we need to go through because there's lots of important information we need to share before you leave and before you come to us to enroll. So we will take you through some slides, but please feel free to ask questions at any point. While we're going through the slides, perhaps best to use chat or the Q&A function. And one of us who isn't speaking will try and catch up with you there. We'll also make sure you have our contact details at the end, so you can follow up with any inquiries through email. We'll also leave time at the end of this presentation as well, so that if you want to ask any questions, then you can. So hopefully, through all of the information we share and through giving you the opportunity to ask questions, we should be able to get a lot of really useful information across to you and hopefully answer most of the questions which are on your mind. So let me just try to go forward through the slides. There we are. So this is an idea of the agenda, the kind of information we're going to cover over the next maybe 30 to 45 minutes. So yeah, as I mentioned, we'll start with the introduction and meeting the team. We'll then talk to you about the services available at the Student Hub once you join us here in Plymouth. We'll talk about accommodation options, about the last date for arrival, how to actually get here. So once you land in the UK, how you complete the rest of your journey down to Plymouth. We'll talk about visas, about the medical centre, about vaccinations as well, because even though COVID is mostly behind us, there's still some information to impart there. We'll talk about the induction week activities we have planned, about the semester dates, and we'll introduce you to the sabbatical officers of the student union. I'll do some of the talking. Chloe and Shubomi will talk some of the slides as well. So yeah, we'll try and make it a kind of, so you don't have to listen to my voice all of the time. So we'll all try to chip in, join in. And as I said, feel free, if you have any questions, do please ask. So to start with, the UPIC Student and Academic Services team. It's a growing team here, Students and Academic Services. We have a head of teaching and learning. We have a student experience coordinator. We have a student experience officer. And the Student and Academic Services team, that will be the first point of contact. So one of my colleagues who is not actually on the call today will be somebody whose name you may have heard and whose face certainly you will see once you reach us here, and that's Toby Joseph Johnson. He's joined by Dion Oral as well in the student experience team. So those will be names and faces that you get to know well over the next few weeks. And as they always say, no question is a silly question. Any question you have, no matter how small or how big, always feel free to ask. That's something we try and always encourage here at UPIC. If there's anything on your mind, any question you have, come and talk to any of us, and especially the Student and Academic Services team. They have office hours. standard office hours, standard hours for the college at 8:30 to 5. But we also have a phone which is on 24/7. So we'll share that number with you as well once you're here. So even though we have standard office hours, there will always be somebody on the end of a phone line who's ready to assist. Yeah. To talk a little bit about the Student Hub and the University Library. So I guess just to go back a stage, it's really important to describe how the college, even though we're a smaller college, we'll have around 300 students in September. We're very much a part of the university community. So the college is on the edge of the university campus. So things like the Student Hub and the library are a very short walk away. So you feel very much a part of the university community. You have access to all of the university's facilities, as all of the university students do, and there are more than 20,000 students on campus. Among the services offered in the Student Hub are things like the welfare team, there's a counselling service, there's a disability and dyslexia service, student centre and immigration. So any questions you may have about your visa, what you're allowed to do with your visa, how to extend it, anything like that. There are staff in the Student Hub, and international student advice is located there as well, and they're very happy to help you at any time. So that gives you an idea of the Student Hub and the library. The library often is open 24/7, not throughout the year, but closer to examination times. A little bit about location. I'm not native to Plymouth, so I'm going to invite Chloe to join me to talk about this, because she knows Plymouth much better than I do.
Yeah,
but one of the
Tim.
things, I was just going to say, one of the things we'd like to say, Britain's Ocean City, that's kind of a motto for the city, and that gives you an idea of just how it's connected. So for a smaller city in the southwest of England, has a long history of people setting sail from here to North America 400 years ago. There are ferries now every day to France and to Spain. So it's a very connected city. Fair to say, Chloe?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I came to university to Plymouth myself all those years ago, and I still love living here. It's so much going on. It's got a population of 235,000. So it's big enough to kind of have a city-like atmosphere, but it's still small enough to feel very safe and to flaunt its natural beauty. You've got loads of beautiful surrounding areas, the seaside, Dartmoor, a bit further out. It really is, that quote there, I'd say, is ideal, the coolest little city by the sea. It's a great place to live for a little while.
It's a great place to live, but also, don't be afraid that it's remote. It's only 3 hours by train from London, and 3 hours, as many of you will know, is just a slightly difficult day in Lagos traffic, isn't it? Getting from the island to the mainland. So it's only a short journey away, and it has a lot of big city facilities as well, because it's a regional centre. So it's not just people who live here. People come from further around to use the shopping facilities, theatre, cinema. Has a big regional hospital as well. So it really does have that feel of being a regional centre.
And it's quite a good holiday location as well, isn't it? The Barbican and all the marina. So lots to do.
We'll try and take you on a little virtual tour. We like to joke that it's a drone. It isn't really, but we do have a virtual tour that we can take you on later.
Oh, great.
Now, just bear with me while I try and move on to the next slide. There we go. There's a little map there. It's not quite as good a kind of way of visualizing how Plymouth is as the virtual tour is. It will show you later on. But the point essentially is that the universities, everything you can see there that's in purple, all of those buildings, they're part of the university. We're right on the edge of the university campus here, where number 20 is on the map. So in Portland Villas, right on the edge of the campus. Just across the road from the college is the railway station, literally 2 minutes walk across the road. And if you walk out of the college, you're immediately in the city centre. You walk through the city centre, you're right on the waterfront. So it's a fantastic location. There's no need at all to use public transport. You can walk everywhere. You don't need a car. It's quicker. In most cases, it will be quicker to make a journey in Plymouth on foot than it will be to use public transport, which saves you a lot of money, saves you a lot of time compared with other university locations. Oh, virtual tour. Chloe, what more do you want to say about Plymouth while I try and get the virtual tour centre set up?
I think it's got a little bit for everyone, really. It's got lots of cultural events happening. So we've just had the championship fireworks in August, but then there'll be things happening throughout the year. So on the theme of fireworks, there'll be more kind of celebrations around bonfire night in November. They've got museums, so we've got something called the Box, which has always got different exhibitions on, loads of different cafes, bars, whatever you're interested in, really, you can find it in Plymouth.
Where are we? University of Plymouth virtual tour. Is this going to work? Come on, please work. There you go. What can you see now? Yeah,
yes,
has it come to life?
Yes, it has. The beginning of it, anyway.
Where should we start? Where should we go first? Go to the Students' Union first, couldn't we? There you go. And it should now home in. Come on. It's gone to sleep.
Oh, wake up.
Come on, you can do it.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That was a bit slow, wasn't it? Just to give you an example. So now we're right in the heart of the campus. This is the Student Union. So the Student Union is the representative body for all of the students in Plymouth. It has its own offices here and social spaces as well. And you're right in the heart of the campus here. I hope we can take you to other places a bit more quickly. Where should we go next?
Yeah, I mean,
there we go. That was sorry, Chloe,
there we go.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say, if you turn around from that position, you would be able to kind of point towards town, because we're right next to the town centre. But this is a better view. You can get a bird's eye view of everything.
Absolutely. So everything in the bottom of the picture here is the university campus. Where the big roundabout is here, if you head down this street, you will be right on the waterfront. So we could show you, for example, the Marine Laboratory. We can show you the Marine Biological Association right on the waterfront. Let's try and show you something that's a bit more better pictures. There you go. So this actually here, this is the Marine Laboratory, which is one of the university's buildings. And as you can see, it's right on the waterfront. So there's harbour here, Sutton Harbour. I mean, remember, this is all just through the town centre down to the waterfront. So just a few minutes walk away from the university buildings. We can go out to sea and have a look back inland.
Can you go to the Hoe from here on this map?
We can.
That'd be nice.
So this is Drake's Island, which is a small island just out to sea. And then from there, you can see back inland, the university, the city centre campus is here, where the logo is, where the shield is. We could show you Royal William Yard, which is another really nice spot. There you go. Is one of those your boat, Chloe?
Oh, if only one day.
So this area here has been converted. You can see the historical buildings. They used to serve the Navy. So they were kind of stores for the Navy that kept all the food and drink and other equipment before the ship set sail. They've now been converted into lots of flats and cafes and restaurants. There's going to be a new cinema there soon as well. So this is a really nice spot for an evening out or during the daytime to go for a walk. You can even get a ferry here, actually, just a short boat ride from the city centre. You can go by water to Royal William Yard. And you can even go from Royal William Yard across the water here to into Kingsand, Corsand. There's a ferry to there as well, which are little villages just down the coast in Cornwall. All of this is just on our doorstep. So really nice beaches. There we go. You can see just down the coast. Where should we go back to?
Oh, Mountbatten.
We could go to Mountbatten, couldn't we? There you go. So again, this is on the waterfront. You can see the university here is still only a few minutes away. And this area of water that you can see that's inside the breakwater there is called Plymouth Sound. So it's a famous piece of water. There you go. You can see the rest of the breakwater out here. What else can we show you before our drone runs out of battery?
Can you see the
Should we go
Hoe?
next? Should we go
Oh,
to
there
the
we
Hoe?
go. Yes.
What's good about the Hoe, Chloe?
It's just a really nice place to go and relax with your friends or have a walk. You've obviously got the views to the sea, but you've got the famous lighthouse, which is great. Sometimes you can go up it, sometimes you can't. But it's just basically right on the edge of town, and it's about what, a 10-15 minute walk from the uni, if that. And you've got the Tinside Lido, the seawater swimming pool down there as well in the summer. So yeah, I highly rate it.
Absolutely, it's a great place, isn't it? Great place. And you could just walk down here in 10 minutes and have your lunch, or just a walk between lectures at lunchtime.
Yeah.
The lighthouse is called Smeaton's Tower, and that's a real kind of icon for Plymouth. So lots of people in the UK would recognise that and know that it's associated with Plymouth. So you'll see it on a lot of our information materials as well, because it's a real kind of icon. On this paved area here, this is actually where the university holds its graduation. So once a year, they put up a huge marquee. Marquee may not sound too grand, but it's actually a really grand but temporary structure that they put up on this paved area. And it's great for graduation, because when students graduate in their gowns and their mortarboards, they can come out onto the grass area here and take their pictures, their graduation pictures, with their parents and celebrate with their family, with the lighthouse and the sea as a backdrop. So it's a really spectacular setting for a graduation, I think. I think it's really hard to beat.
It is. I saw some of my friends' graduation places, and there's nothing like Plymouth Hoe for that.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's take you back to the campus. What would it be good to see on campus? So have a look at the Roland Vinsky building. It's one of the main university buildings. Has actually a cinema in there, and lots of large lecture theatres as well. Really distinctive architecturally as well. So a real kind of landmark building. Where else should we go? Should we have a look at the accommodation?
Oh, yes.
Go a little bit further across, don't we, to see the accommodation? So this is an example of one of the university's halls in what's called the Accommodation Village. So this is Robbins Hall. It's just one of several in that area there. UPIC students can use university accommodation if they want to. We also have an arrangement with a private letting provider that's a little bit more flexible in some cases, but we'll talk to you about all of that in a minute. So yeah, you can see again that the accommodation is very close to the teaching building, so everything is very conveniently located, very close together. Where else should we go? We want to go anywhere else in our drone tour? Let me show you where the station is, because I mentioned that before. Yes. So we're located just down here on the edge of the campus. This is where the UPIC building is. And you go just across, you can see the train station is here. So it literally is just across the road. So really convenient, and just 3.5 hours away from London by train. So if you arrive by train, you're only 10 minutes or even less on foot from the college building. There you go. Plymouth is quite a compact city because of the geography of the city. So everything is not packed in, but it's close in together because of the way that the land the land lies. So nothing, the big benefit of that is nothing is ever too far away. There we go. You think that's enough for the virtual tour?
Yeah, I think that's a good overview.
Oh, there's a gym. Forgot to mention.
Oh, yes.
University gym and a sports hall there as well.
And of course, can't really see it, but of course, all the clubs and societies that the students' union run will use that space or elsewhere as well.
Lots of cafes on campus, and there's this one here, the Reservoir, is a vegetarian cafe. So lots of options for food, for eating and drinking. There we go. We probably get a bit overexcited about this because we like it so much, but I'll share the link for this in the chat, so you can have a tour around in your own time. There we go. Now I need to work out how to go back to the slides.
And is it accommodation we're on to next, I believe?
I think we might be. There we go.
Ah, yes. Okay, so should I talk a bit about accommodation?
Sure.
Okay, so as we've mentioned, the accommodation is all about 5 to 10 minute walk to campus, depending on where you are, but all very easily accessible to the university. You've got ensuite rooms available for most options, and we provide a complimentary bedding pack for every student, so you don't need to worry about organising that, buying it when you're here or bringing it with you. We also have moving day help from the Clever Student Let's team. Tim, is that between accommodations, or I'm not too sure about
no, you get help with moving in. So when you arrive, as long as we know when you're coming, you'll get plenty of help with moving into the accommodation. Yeah, so we've mentioned a couple of times now, so perhaps good to explain more that all our students can use university accommodation. But we also have an arrangement with a local letting agent that we've worked with for a few years, and they're very flexible around things like arrival dates. So most of our students arrive in September, but they'll also offer shorter contracts for students who arrive in January or in May, and they'll also just charge for the accommodation that you need. So the difference tends to be that the university will have one single contract, so a 41-week contract starting in September. But with Clever Student Lets, there can be a bit more flexibility about that. But what it really means more than anything is you have options, you have choices. And all of the accommodation is good quality accommodation. It's all very close to the college and to the university campus. And I know it's a really important consideration too, but it's really good value. So we say that prices start from around £90 a week. They can actually be less than that, but we'd suggest you start looking at around that range. And that's, that can be a third or a half of London accommodation prices. So it really is very good value. So Plymouth has been described as one of the top 7 most cost-effective UK student cities. So cost-effective in that prices are low relative to other big cities, but also there's a lot of availability of part-time work for students who want to do that too. So accommodation is great value, good quality, lots of choice, all very close to the college and the university in a city which is in the top 5 ranked UK safe cities. So it's a calm and relatively peaceful place to be. We'd never obviously be so daft as to guarantee that you'll always be safe here, but the data compare really well with other UK cities. The UK is generally a safe and peaceful country, and Plymouth ranks very well. It's a friendly city, Chloe, would you say?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you'll definitely find someone to talk to. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Tim. I would like to also add, for those coming with dependents, I would also advise that the students come in first, then try to look at the environment, get apartment that would also contain the dependent as well. So you don't just come down with your dependent and get stranded of where to stay. So I guess the students should come in first, try to sort out accommodation for themselves and the dependent. So.
Yeah, thanks, Shibomi. It's a really good point that you make. So we do have accommodation for families. Postgraduate students, you do have that freedom to bring family with you. But obviously it's much better, much safer. You'll feel a lot happier and more secure if you've booked all of that in advance. And we can help with that. Clever Student Let, our preferred letting agent, can help with family accommodation too. But yeah, the longer in advance you plan all of that, the happier you'll feel when you're making the journey. Just a little bit more information there about Clever Student Let. Probably most of this we've mentioned already, but 5 different styles of rooms, so all kinds of choice, about the kind of accommodation you want, and about the budget as well, and all within easy walking distance of the campus. How to get here?
Oh yes. So we
How
have.
do I get to Plymouth, Chloe? Help! I'm landed at Heathrow and I don't know what to do.
No fear. We have an airport pickup service, especially for UPIC students. So if you're interested in that, you can submit a request online on this link here. So yeah, it costs around £240 and you pay that to the taxi driver on the day. But make sure you've obviously booked it with us in advance. And that means that, you know, you don't have any worries. You'll just arrive at the airport. You'll find the taxi and take you directly to your accommodation. So a very easy way to get here.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't expect to land at Heathrow and just get into a taxi outside. There will be taxis who will happily bring you to Plymouth, but it will cost a lot more money than the £240 quoted there. Is that the only way I can get here then, by taxi?
No, it's not.
How else can I do it, Chloe? I'm still a bit confused.
Okay, so a good way is by train. So you've got either a few options here. You could either go for, if you get into London Heathrow, you can get the Rail Airlink coach. So that goes to Reading railway station. And yeah, then from there you can get the train to Plymouth. Or you can go the Heathrow Express service, which is slightly more expensive. And that gets you into London Paddington. And then you can then change to a train to Plymouth from there. So yeah, I guess prices are usually £22 for a single, £35 for a turn for the Heathrow Express. And there's also coach options. So yeah, so we recommend National Express is a very good coach service. So that gets you, if you go from to Heathrow, you can get it direct to Plymouth, so another easy option as well. And for both of these, when you arrive in Plymouth, we recommend you getting just a normal taxi to your accommodation, which shouldn't be more than about £8. And you can just get a taxi that's queued up from the railway station or the bus station for that.
Thanks, Chloe.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, no, we mentioned before that the train station is right in the centre of the city and just across the road from the university. The coach station is as well. The coach station is actually even closer to the college, right on the central shopping street that goes through the city. So they're both really, you're right in the centre of the city if you arrive by train or by coach. And that could be just a walk to your accommodation, or it might be a short taxi ride. Or if you use the taxi service we mentioned before, you know, you'll be delivered directly to your door. So again, lots of options. The coach will be less expensive than the train, possibly a little bit less comfortable and a little bit slower, but it's a good quality. It's a good quality coach service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like National Express. Served me well.
BRP, collecting your BRP. So this is something that our colleagues in student services can certainly help you with. You should have confirmation of where your BRP will be delivered. That might be the post office. If it is, we'll show you where that is. But as soon as you know where that is, ready to collect, we'll point you in the right direction. When you get here, you also need to let UKEVI reporting know that you've arrived in the UK, and you'll see the email address there that you need to use. You'll be asked to upload a copy of your passport, the data page of your passport, and the vignette. So that's the visa you have in your passport. Yeah, and then everything will be organized. I don't want to sort of confuse you of too much detail there, because once you're here and you're talking to us about the enrollment process, then our colleagues in student services can sort all of this for you once you're here. Just as long as you have your visa with vignette in the passport, you'll be good to arrive in the country. And then we just need to make sure we've reported everything correctly when you're here. Medical centre. This is another good one, actually. It's a great advantage of being a student in the UK. There is the surcharge you need to pay, but once that's paid, all healthcare in the UK is free of charge, except for a small prescription charge if you need any medication. But that's a charge which is much smaller than the actual cost of the medication. There is a medical centre, as you can see here, right in the heart of the campus. And as soon as you've registered with a GP, with a doctor, a local doctor, that will automatically give you access to that medical centre. So medical care is only ever a few steps away. Once you've registered with a doctor, you can use the university's medical centre. We do still need to talk a little bit about COVID. It hasn't gone away completely. There are still people infected in the UK with COVID, but the numbers of people who are seriously ill, having to go to hospital, or people who are dying of COVID, those numbers are way down. So it's still an unpleasant thing, but the numbers of people getting seriously ill is now very small. Few people are in hospital with COVID. If you have not been vaccinated and you want to be vaccinated, then that's still available. It's free of charge. So once you've registered with the doctor, you can get vaccinated. If you've had one vaccination at home and you need a second dose, then every effort will be made to match the kind of vaccine that you've had at home with the one that you're given here. So yeah, you have absolute access to COVID vaccination still. If you need that, if you want that, if you need to update that. Okay, it's something to be aware of, but I would say not something really to worry about anymore in the UK. If you catch COVID, it might feel like having a bad cold, but it's not as threatening as by any means as it has been over the last couple of years. Enrollment, important dates here. So for undergraduate students, those are students doing foundation or year one, our enrollment week starts on Monday, the 12th of September. It's 1 week later for pre-master students, so Monday, the 19th of September. So you need to enroll during those dates, and we'll tell you more about the activities in that week. So you can enroll from Monday the 12th or Monday the 19th, and then there'll be a whole week that follows that of induction activities. When you come to enroll with us, you need to bring all the things in that list there so that we can fully enroll you. So your passport or national ID card, your original certificates, that's English language, whether that's IELTS or another test, and your academic certificates as well. You need to bring your visa, and you need to let us know a UK phone number and a UK address. And that needs to be a local address as well. That needs to be an address in Plymouth. You mustn't think that you can come to the UK to study in Plymouth at UPIC and go live in Manchester or Liverpool or London or somewhere else. That won't work. You do need to be close to the college. And you also, when you come to enroll, you need to bring your emergency contact details, email, phone number, and address for at least 2 people. So that's what you need to bring with you when you come to enroll. And these are the kinds of things that we offer you during the induction week. So these are the UPIC welcome talks from a college management team. There'll be program specific talks. There'll be an introduction in how to join your classes. introduction to the student portal that you'll need to access all of your academic work. And these are the other kinds of activities. This is the schedule for the induction. These are all the important dates. The accommodation starts when you arrive, and that will be absolutely on the day you arrive if you use Clever Student Let's accommodation. Then the orientation dates are there, as I mentioned before, for undergraduate and postgraduate. The classes start a week after the induction week starts. And then you can see the fees are due by the 18th of November, if there's any fee balance outstanding. And getting towards the end of 2022, the end of the calendar year, we have our exams. The exam week is the 12th to the 16th of December. And then the end of term is the 16th of December. So those are the really important dates for you to work with there. And this year, there's no study available online. We have been teaching online for the last 2.5 years or so, but now everybody is back on campus. So you do need to be here in good time for those induction activities and for the start of teaching. Student union, these are your kind of official representatives. So a students' union is a large part of university life in the UK. Every university has a students' union. They attend a lot of the senior management meetings, and they are the students' representatives within the university community. Really interesting to note, actually, that former UPIC students have gone on to have senior roles in the students' union. Last year, the student union president was a former UPIC student, and we've had a VP education who is a former UPIC student as well. So that's something you could look to get involved with, and also stay in touch with that group, because they are your kind of official student representatives on campus. Chloe, you've been a student more recently than me. Is there anything more to say about the role of the students' union, do you think?
They're just really good for support and getting to know other students, because obviously they've got the formal people in place who run everything. So they listen to individual students if you have any ideas on how things should be run and things like that. But then you've also got all the clubs and societies that they run, and there's so many. You'll literally find a club or society or sport, whatever you're interested in, it will probably be there. And if it's not, you can actually put together a kind of pack for a new club. If you can get a team of people together, you can look to run one yourself. So it's just a really good part of student life that I really recommend you get involved in.
It really is. There's a club or a society for just about anything you can think of, isn't there?
Yeah.
And there are different national societies as well. So we try and celebrate all different national days.
Yeah.
For all kinds of other things, every sport you can imagine. And if there isn't a club, you can actually go to the students' union, and if enough people are interested, you can set one up. So it's a properly kind of representative body. I think that's about it. Shibomi, what have I forgotten? Anything else you would like to add?
No, not really. I think you covered most of it. And what I would just say, for those who are still probably expecting their cars and all, and or maybe peradventure you have discrepancies in your certificate or anything, just ensure you get the National Population Census attestation. We don't accept affidavit, because we'll be going back and forth with some of the students regarding that. So just so they know that we don't accept affidavits, because it's not a legal document. So when they are coming as well, probably you have to provide that alongside other documents that has discrepancy. Just ensure you get that when you're coming. The National Population Census attestation, that will cover any document error or I think that's all. And in case you are still expecting your class, like I said, just send a mail to me. I'll be able to follow up with the admissions team. And peradventure you are deferring to January due to one thing or the other, just ensure you make them do the acceptance do the fill the acceptance form as soon as possible as well. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Shibomi.
Yeah.
As Shibomi mentioned, we have issued almost all of the CASs now for September entry. So if you haven't had your CAS yet, I think, Chloe, fair to say we will complete those within the next couple of days, won't we?
Yes.
They're almost all done. If you originally applied for September, but you're now looking to defer to January, we will start making progress on the January offers and the CASs in the next few weeks, but we need to sort everything out and complete everything for September first. So that will be the next big project for our admissions team.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also noticed somebody asking about the bedding pack in the comments. So the accommodation, Tim, we mentioned like a complimentary bedding pack. Do you know what that consists of?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't think you need to carry all of your bedding with you from your home country. You'll have a duvet, you'll have a sheet, you'll have a pillow, you'll have a pillowcase. So everything that you need for your bedding will be provided. Also, it's worth mentioning about clothes. Don't bring 4 or 5 big suitcases of clothes. Clothes are not expensive in the UK. If you're not familiar with the UK weather, then don't try and guess from home about everything that you might need. Don't think you need to go and buy a big coat. Get here first with just enough to keep you going. And then there are lots of low-cost shops like Primark and other shops close to the university. I'm not advocating for Primark there, by the way, just saying other shops are available. It is cheap though. There are lots of secondhand shops that sell really good quality, really well prepared clothes as well. So seriously, don't bring five big suitcases. You don't need to. Just bring what you need to keep you going for a few weeks. And then if you need to add stuff, you can when you're here. What else do you need to bring? You need to bring a laptop or have a laptop. So either bring one with you, or again, you can get one here. Laptops are not expensive and secondhand laptops are available as well. So you might want to consider that option, but you will need to have a laptop. You can't expect to do your work on your phone or, through a smaller device. There were some other questions, weren't there, that we had. I closed the presentation down too soon. Let's go back to those questions. Sorry, Shibomi, were you going to say?
Yes. There's one who asked about payment without receiving an unconditional offer. So I don't know if you want to shed more light on that. Well, I've asked that as well.
Yeah, some of the questions we do get asked regularly. Don't need to repeat ourselves if you know all of this, but Chloe, how can I enroll if I haven't got my visa yet?
Oh, you can't.
I can't, can I? No, there's no online enrollment. Everything now is on campus. To join us on campus, you will need your CAS, which you then use to apply for a visa. So you do need your visa before you can enroll with us. You probably all are at an advanced point now, so that you know that already. Chloe, I've got family in Scotland. It's okay to go and live in Edinburgh, isn't it? That will be fine. Surely not a problem.
No, I'm afraid it's not. No, UKVI won't allow that because obviously you need to be studying in Plymouth with access to the university. So yeah, you need to be in the local area.
You do need to be here. It's good here. So the experience will be a more positive one if you're close by, if you're in Plymouth. If you're concerned about being in a bigger city for work opportunities, there's plenty of part-time work available here as well. Compared to a lot of countries in the world, the UK is a small country. So don't be scared if you look at the map and you see that Plymouth is on one side of the country and London's on the other. That's not a big distance. That's only 3.5 hours away. So visiting friends, family in other parts of the UK is something that you can do at the weekends. You don't need to be close to them all of the time. When do I have to pay the second installment of my fees? We just showed you that information. I think it said the 18th of November. So ideally, you will have paid 50% of your fee in advance or your full fee for a pre-masters. If there's a balance to be paid, ideally, we would like that to be paid on enrollment. If not, we do have a kind of an end date for that, which is in mid-November. Do I need to buy a laptop? I just answered my own question, didn't I, a few minutes ago? Yeah, absolutely, you do. You don't need, the most expensive top of the range laptop. Great if you can afford one. Just make sure you have all of the right software packages on there. So something that can run Microsoft packages, so you have Word and Excel, is really important. How early can I arrive in Plymouth, Shibomi? Can I leave now and be there 6 weeks early? No, it wouldn't be 6 weeks anymore, would it? 3 weeks early?
Yes, you can leave right now. In fact, you have to be in school before your enrollment date. So you should be in school by now if you've gotten a visa, but if you've not gotten, you could also send a mail. Probably you have, but we advise students to actually go for the priority visa or the super priority visa for now, because we're close to the start date. So should be in school by now. Yeah.
Okay. I can see there's another question in the text. Have we answered this yet, Shibomi? Can we come along with our cooking utensils and some foodstuffs?
No.
Well, you could, but again, that would be taking up lots of space in your luggage that you don't really need to do. So cooking utensils, again, you can buy.
At the school campus.
Yeah. Bedding, don't bring bedding.
You don't need to bring your beddings. And the school, your accommodation has to be very close to the school. So I don't think it's required for you to bring your beddings. It shouldn't be far, maybe like, let's say 10 to 15 minutes max away from the school. So you don't need to bring that.
Yeah, and if you're a Navitas student, we provide your bedding pack, so it will be there for you.
Anything else you need, you can buy very cheaply here. So don't think of bringing all this, cooking equipment and bedding and loads of extra coats and clothes and everything. Travel light, and then anything else you think you need once you've settled in, you can sort out once you're here.
Wilco's is a very good shop. Not that we're advocating for specific shops, but
I don't know. I would advocate for Wilco.
Household stuff, yeah. Also close to the uni campus, but very good for households. So bedding, cooking stuff, anything like that. Toiletries, cleaning products. Yeah.
Everything you need, you can get when you're here. If you want some houseplants, there's even a houseplant event in the Students' Union in one of the first weeks. So you can go along and get your houseplants even. Yeah,
very important. Good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for joining. Before we leave, are there any final questions anyone would like to ask, either using your voice or through the Q&A or the chat? Do you think we're done, Shibomi?
Yes, we're done.
All right, lovely. I need to thank my fellow panelists. So thank you, Chloe, for your time and your input. Thank you, Shibomi, as well. Thank you for your input and for keeping up with all the questions on the Q&A and the chat. And thank you, everybody who's joined us this afternoon. We're really excited to welcome you.
The laptops and okay, I think we'll have some questions.
Go on,
we do, yes.
Okay, how do we cope with the laptops? I'm not really used with it.
You'll just get used to it. Just get used to it when
if you're using most of the MS Word, basically, and your Excel, if you probably have an assignment to meet up with, and also it's something it's just for you to type basically, so you get used to it. Don't worry. If I'm not able to attend one of the orientations, do I need to inform the school? Yes, you need to send a mail regarding that. Yeah.
Do try and get here for the start of the orientation. We know it's not always possible, but it is really good value. Yeah. So if you're here just a week early, you are so far ahead of anyone who arrives later than you, because you know your way around. You've done all of the orientation activities. You've had all of those talks. And you've had a week to settle in before you start with your classes. So it really is worth getting here early if you can. Okay. Are we done?
I
Yep.
think so, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thank you, everyone who's
welcome.
joined us this
Yeah.
afternoon. As I said at the start, we've been recording this, so we'll share the link to the recording on Zoom. We'll also post it to our YouTube channel, so you can go back and look at any time if anything we said was unclear, or you just want to remind yourself of some of the key information. You had our contact details there. So also please feel free to get in touch by email with any other questions you think of after we've finished. And yeah, we're really excited to meet you all and to have the opportunity to welcome you to Plymouth and to welcome you as Plymouth students. So, and that will be, we're sure, the first step in a really exciting journey. And in 4 or 5 years' time, maybe we'll see you with your parents down on the Hoe where we showed you before, celebrating your graduation in a few years' time. So this first step is the first step on that journey. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.